How's it going, everybody? RazingHel here, and today I am going to be doing a little bit of a rant about Windows 10 updates. So originally I was going to record a video, and then I got a notification that there were new updates available for the NVIDIA graphics card that I have. So this is a little bit of an aside, but it's just one of those situations where problems compound, like one problem on top of another problem, and you end up wasting so much time trying to deal with all of them. So I got this notification. There's a new graphics driver update for my NVIDIA graphics card. I have the GTX 1070. It's pretty middle of the road kind of graphics card. So I go ahead and install it, and it just freezes up my monitor. Like, the update apparently successfully installed, but I never regained control of my monitors because of it. And this has never happened before. Like, it's average, it's normal to see your monitors flicker on and off a little bit during the install. But to have the monitor just fail to reappear at all has never happened to me before with NVIDIA. Really kind of ticked me off with that, because I lost information that I had open in a document that I was working on. Because usually what ends up happening is I use Notepad to take notes just on the side, because it's one of those programs you can just open up immediately. It's ready. You can type in, lost some notes, a couple of other things. It wasn't that serious, but it really ticked me off. So then I restarted the computer because I had to just shut it down. I had to turn it off all the way. I had to press the power kill switch on it to get it back under my control, because it absolutely refused to give me a monitor. I tried remoting into it. It didn't work because apparently it wasn't getting a desktop signal at all. So after that, I checked for some updates for Windows 10. It's the operating system that I'm using here. And there were a couple of updates, like some .NET updates to install and whatnot. So I went ahead, installed those, restarted the computer again, twice in one night. And then we get to this situation here. So I looked for this. I looked at the update screen again. Oh, good. We're all caught up, right? Your device is up to date. Last checked today at 3:19 a.m. That's how late it is, or early, depending upon where you are. But anyway, I looked at the version then, because I noticed this. It said, good news, the Windows 10 Creators Update is on its way. You want to be one of the first ones to get it. The Creators Update, I know, has been released for a long time. So I was saying, like, why exactly are they saying that it's on its way? Shouldn't I have installed it already? My updates are pretty much automatic. It says my device is up to date. Why do they still talk about the Windows 10 Creators Update? Well, I went ahead and checked the version, and I'm stuck on something like version 1607 when the actual version is version 1700 something. So here's the problem. What am I supposed to do with this Windows update then? It says my device is up to date. I thought the great thing about the Windows automatic updates was going to be that we never had to worry about our device not being up to date anymore, that Windows would just shove those updates down our throats. Well, as it turns out, I don't have the right version of Windows. I'm getting updates for an outdated version of Windows. It's like updating Windows 7 at this point. I really don't have the latest version of Windows. So I went ahead and downloaded and ran the troubleshooter, the Windows Update troubleshooter. And it came up with some potential problems. They're like, yeah, we'll check for this and that. And your potential Windows Update database errors is detected. Potential Windows Update database error. How does that happen? I mean, this was a clean install, right? When Windows 10 came out, I did a clean install of it on my machine. It's not like this was an upgrade from a previous version of Windows, mostly because I didn't manage to upgrade the preview that I had before, but things sometimes turn out for the best. So I'm just wondering, I've pretty much done everything they wanted me to do. I've been forced to update automatically when those updates rolled around. So why exactly would there be an update database error? I don't know. It's just like one of those situations where it seems to be that there is a certain subset of Windows users that will experience certain technical problems such as this. And it happens to me every single time. I can't tell you. It's been going on for multiple years now, where Windows Update is complete BS. Take, for example, in late 2014. This was when the Windows 10 preview at the time was out. So what I had a laptop. I installed the Windows 10 preview on that, and then I was using it regularly because my laptop had Vista on it before, and it's an old laptop, but I'm not, it was a gaming laptop, so it's kind of average by today's standards, even though it is a bit underpowered now, but it's not a completely underpowered. So I was using it, and besides, that was 2014. Remember, that was back in 2014, and I had the same problem where I had the Windows preview or the Windows technical preview installed on my laptop, and they would never update it. You check for updates, it said it's up to date, and blah blah. It just goes on with that. And then what would happen one day is I noticed that my laptop was just shutting off unexpectedly. Like, there was no warning that I saw that came up for this. So after it happened a couple more times, I did some poking around, and I learned that Windows 10 technical preview will actually shut down automatically when it's too out of date. When like it's 3 months or 4 months out of date, it would just shut down automatically. Like, you would be using it for 2 hours and then it will shut down automatically. Well, that was great. Thanks for informing me of that, Microsoft, because you didn't. You never mentioned it anywhere that I noticed, and I would say that's a failure for you to communicate on your part, because you install the Windows 10 technical preview, and they don't put up a warning like, we're going to shut down your machine automatically every 2 hours that you have it running if you don't keep it up to date. And I was keeping it up to date. Like, I didn't do this with the intent of delaying updates. I had full intent of installing all the recent updates, but it was a problem with the Windows Updater again. So that was on my laptop. Then there was a problem with Windows Updater on my desktop. Fortunately, that Surface tablet that I have, that was able to get the Windows 10 Creator Update with no problem. The worst part about the technical preview on my laptop back in 2014, the worst part about that was it actually, after about 10 automatic shutdowns after 2 hours of use, you couldn't even start it again. So basically, if you had valuable information on there or something, you'd better hope that you could actually get into the folders that the information was stored in, because you would not be allowed back, to start the operating system at all, just because it was out of date. But, it's Windows 10 technical preview. Okay, fair enough. I didn't pay anything for it. But, now this is Windows 10. This is the latest version, supposedly. I checked for an update. It says it's up to date, but it's not. It's really not, because the latest version of Windows is 17 something. I don't have the Creators Update on here. I don't have that ability to shift the color of the screen. What is that called? I currently use F-Flux or Flux, whatever they called it, to adjust, to pitch shift the gradients and the colors to make it more warm during the evening hours and less blue. But I don't have that option on my Windows 10 machine here, because it's not updated to the Windows 10 Creator Update. And I can't get the Windows 10 Creator Update through good old-fashioned Windows Update. So that's the great thing. Microsoft, they came up with this wonderful idea. They're going to go ahead and push automatic updates on everybody, regardless of whether or not it was convenient for them. It was a complete headache for me, because, once again, rather than warning you that updates have downloaded and are ready to install, it would just randomly install them. It just randomly restart my machine without informing me whatsoever. Like, I've noticed now, I think, on the Creators Update that I have installed on the Surface Pro, that you'll actually be given the option. Oh no, actually it's doing it on this one now too. Apparently I did get that update. So on my desktop itself now, it will warn me that updates are pending and you can reschedule them. So I did get that update. I just didn't get the Creators Update, which is really bizarre when you think about it. So no Creators Update, but I did get the update that sort of made Windows Update better. It made it less of a headache when it would just randomly restart your machine without warning you beforehand. So it doesn't do that anymore. It doesn't do that. It does warn me now, which is great. I like that. Maybe it was supposed to warn me before. It's just because my machines always seem so incredibly borked, it never showed up. Or I just missed it. It's possible that in the 1.5, 2 years that I was using Windows 10, that every single time it restarted without me noticing it, I simply had not noticed a pop-up on the screen that mentioned that the machine was going to be restarting in a certain amount of time. That's possible. It's just I find it a little bit unlikely because that's like at least 15, maybe 15 individual instances of being updated, and I never saw it once until most recently. I don't know, but I mean, this is what's bothering me. This is what's taking up so much time, and now it's taking up another 10 plus minutes to complain about it. But I've never had a good experience with Windows Update. It's always been a colossal freak show in ways. If it's not the fact that it refuses to download the updates, it's the fact that it refuses to find the updates that you know are supposed to be there. So now I guess I'm just going to have to go ahead and upgrade Windows 10 version 1600 something 1607. I'm going to have to go ahead and download the full image of Windows 10, the latest one with the creators update on it. And then I'm going to have to run it on my machine and act as if I'm upgrading a system just to iterate up, 1,000 worth of numbers for a version. To iterate up from 6,000 to 7,000. It's not even like a major. It's not even like a service pack update. Well, maybe it is like a service pack update, but so these are the kinds of things you got to deal with, and it does annoy me after a while. Like you're sitting here, it's like, okay, I want to get stuff done. 1 hour goes by, 2 hours go by, your machine's crashing, you're losing data, your screens are freezing, Windows is refusing to give you the latest updates, even though they say you have the latest updates. Yeah, so that's about I'd say it's about 3 hours now that I've just been doing nothing but updating. In 2017, by the way, for one computer. I suppose this says more about me than it does about Windows, but I would like to think that we are at least equally to blame in these situations. So yeah, that's my rant on Windows 10 updates, because they're still a headache. When I click check for updates, and then it finds updates, and it downloads the updates, it could take 2 hours to download a Windows Defender update, for example. It's ridiculous sometimes. That's not normal. Normally it will take like 10 minutes to download a definitions update for Windows Defender. I find that even that, I find a little bit on the long side, like a definitions update is generally not very big. It's usually measured under 1 megabyte, and you're telling me that it takes 10 or so minutes to actually download and install that. I don't understand it, but then again, I'm not a software developer. I'm not somebody who develops operating systems, so the only thing I really have to go on is how other operating systems that I've used handles this, and by far, I would have to say that while there have been some hiccups with my iOS device updates, by and large, they have gone quite smoothly compared to Windows and their joke of an update, or Microsoft's joke of an update for Windows. Regardless of the operating system, although Windows 10 has been hands down the most troublesome so far. Like I've used Windows Vista, I've used Windows 7, kind of skipped to Windows 8, jumped to Windows 10. Windows 10, hands down, worst updates ever. Windows Vista was fair enough. Windows 7 was basically just an improvement over Windows Vista, but Windows 10, I've just have had nothing but problems with it, and like I said before, it's been on multiple machines, not just my desktop that I'm using right here. It's also been on my laptop. Maybe it's an issue with my internet connection. I can't say for sure, but the thing is, everything else seems to work just fine. So if it is a problem with that, I have no idea why it would be. It might be one of those internet backbone kind of issues. I don't know, because I've seen those crop up in some MMO games where you'll have everybody else has the ability to connect to it, no problem. The developers see no problem on their end, but there is some issue in between the person who is playing the game and then the server. They just can't connect to it. So who knows? Maybe that's my problem here with Windows 10 updates. But I'm telling you, it's been nothing but a pain in my neck since Windows 10 Technical Preview was available for public download. So that's my thoughts on that. thank you very much for watching if you got this far, and I hope to see you next time.